impact causes by generating. Thank you for recording it. So maybe I see that there are still quite a couple of people trying to get into the room, but I also want to be mindful of your time. So maybe I'll just give like maybe 1 minute more to see if other people will be coming in anytime soon before I go on to to continue with it. So just a minute more, and I'll just be sharing my screen in the process. Okay. So we'll continue and get started. My name is Allwell Ahibe. I am the co-founder and chief executive officer at Travail Ensemble. We're a social enterprise that is providing philanthropic support, particularly in terms of technical support and resource mobilization, capacity building to African NGOs that cut across Anglophone and Francophone parts of Africa. I will be the host for this webinar today, and I am joined here by very esteemed colleagues of mine at Travail Ensemble, who I will give the opportunity to just mention their names and also like what their designation are. And then I will take it away quickly to ensure that we're able to follow through with the agenda for today. So I think at this point, I will just pass it on to Lulupe to just mention your name and your designation at Travail Ensemble.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar. So my name is Tolulope Ulafemi, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Travail Ensemble. Thank you.
Excellent. Damaris, would you like to also just say hi to the house?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Damaris Sahibe. I am the communications officer here at Travail Ensemble. So it's great to be here.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Damaris and Tolulope. I am the key facilitator, but at some point I'll pass it over to both of them to be able to share some aspects of this very exciting webinar today. To kick us off, I will just quickly share my screen and hope I finally get it this time. And yes, I did. Awesome. Okay, and just kind of say a little bit about Travail Ensemble and kind of how this webinar came about and what the whole emphasis is on before moving on to introduce the speakers and also share and give them the opportunity to share what they have set up for you today. So Travail Ensemble, it's a French word that means working together. And that is it forms part of the mantra for creating our social enterprise. So our motto is working together, shifting the power. We set it up because we believe that African NGOs should lead international development. So we understand that international development is lopsided with most of the resourcing, most of the programming, and fundraising support coming from the global north and being played out on the African stage or other parts of the global south. We are firmly of the belief that African NGOs should lead international development. As a result of that belief, we're democratizing access to fundraising, technical support, and capacity building that African NGOs need at this point in time. One of the key things we want to bridge the gap between Francophone Africa and Anglophone Africa. What we've realized from our own insightful mapping studies across West Africa in particular is that the French-speaking part of Africa often gets left behind in international development simply because most of the funders, they speak the English So because English is the language of international development, for funding, for program management, amongst other things. Finally, we're also trying to leverage major donors' pivots to localization at this time. Donors such as USAID, from 2021, they have increasingly moved towards localization, and they are looking to spend more than 25% of their funding between now and 2030. They're willing to transfer it directly to African NGOs instead of using international NGOs as the mediator. So we were formed to really make sure that NGOs in Africa have that capacity to take up that funding and deliver on it. We're driven by a mission that insists that we have to do what we need to do to shift power to African social impact organizations. So that includes NGOs, consulting firms, indigenous groups, amongst others, to ensure that we're able to provide resource mobilization support, capacity building, as well as research and strong networks too. The vision we have is a prosperous Africa that has African social impact organizations at the forefront of its sustainable development. In terms of what Travail Ensemble does, the key thing we provide 5 key services. One, grant writing for African NGOs, business development training, donor advisory services for indigenous African funders and individuals, insightful research, as well as access to fundraising networks or communities of practice. The grant writing involves a 12-month grant writing retainership where we work with you and your team for about 12 months and providing you with proposals to bilateral donors, multilateral donors, private American foundations, and also in the process, we give you an ongoing donor mapping, supports and insightful grant research that should fund and that should form the basis of your proposal writing. Besides that, we also provide donor intelligence as well. We're a team of people that have over a decade of experience in business development, in program management, and in strategic communications for NGOs. And we're bringing our skills together to ensure that we can provide you expertise in proposal writing to some of the biggest NGOs that you are already writing grants through, including USAID, FCDO, the European Union, US State Department, World Bank, other UN multilateral agencies, as well as American private foundations. In terms of business development training, we focus on capacity building. So we train people or organizations on proposal development, fundraising strategy, how to source for funding locally, as well as provide you training on donor mapping, and then developing standard operating procedures for your BD team. Donor advisory services, it includes designing calls for proposals, terms of references, researching prospective grantees. We provide these services to African donors, actually. We do due diligence on African NGOs, strengthen the capacity building for grantees, and also convene African philanthropic events as well. When it comes to our service of fundraising communities of practice, we believe that it's important for African business development professionals to have a very active network where they're constantly upskilling, receiving exclusive coaching and training, and able to access like some of the available jobs both within the African continent and outside. I, for instance, have been a beneficiary of working directly with US-based NGOs remotely, doing business development at the highest level, at the headquarter level. And that's also an experience that we're looking to share with fundraising professionals or those that are in charge of business development for African NGOs. So we do have these online communities of practice that encourage people. Then finally, we provide research, and this research is really geared towards the philanthropic ecosystem. One of the recent ones we did for 2 grant funders, one in Brazil and one in Senegal, was really mapping the West African philanthropic ecosystem, getting to know what the gaps are, what the prospects are, what NGOs require, amongst all of these other things as well. So we did that in Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and Senegal. And then we're also looking to do that across Africa, particularly in East and South Africa as well. So we provide research of funding trends, philanthropic mapping, amongst other bespoke research outputs that you may have as well. So how does this concern you, or how can you leverage these opportunities? Get in touch with us. Our website is travailensemble.com. You can reach out to us at info@travailensemble.com. Then you can also follow us on our social media platforms and take advantage of that as well. So at this point, I just wanted to give this brief rundown just so all of us are able to understand what one of the conveners of this event does, and also how we can leverage that as an African NGO. So I will turn it over to Lulope at this point to just set down some important ground rules for our engagement today, how you can interact with your colleagues as well as the speakers as well.
All right, thank you. So welcome once again, and in a bit to make the space interactive, and we want it to be as fast as possible because we know everyone have one or two things to do today. So these are the rules we think everybody should be able to adhere to. Number one, we want everyone to please mute your mic if you're not speaking to avoid distraction, and then we want to be mindful of background noises lest it distracts or disturbs other participants in the room. And then we want us to please keep our comments quite respectful, either verbal comment or the one left in the chat room. Then we don't want anybody to interrupt while a speaker is talking or during Q&A, so that we can pass our informations across properly. And then the last is please raise your hand. There is somewhere here where you can, I think the reactions, where you can raise your hand if you have any questions. And if you have any questions, we will take it during Q&A. And if you don't want to ask us, you can type it in the chat room. I'll get it and ask the questions when it's time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tolu, for walking us through those ground rules. We hope that with these rules, we're able to to better enjoy this engagement and also be able to figure out how we can take advantage or leverage these events and make sure that it's not just one of those webinars you attend, but it's one where you are actually able to transform your fundraising as a result of it. So I don't know, Tolu, would you want to, at this point, I want to go straight into the power-packed sessions we have for today. We're really delighted, like I said, to be partnering with Giving Tuesday Africa Hub. I mean, they're literally the pioneers of these events that we're here to discuss, and the Africa Hub has been working really hard to ensure that they foster the culture of philanthropy and also giving as well across the African continent. So happy to have Eme Inekong here as one of the key speakers, as well as Folakemi additional. So at this point, I want us to take their bios. I think, I don't know, maybe Tolu can take it, as I can't see Damaris in, or Damaris, okay, you're here. So yeah, Damaris, would you like to?
Yes, I'm here.
Take the bio?
Okay, thank you very much. As you said, we're very delighted to have these amazing speakers join us and speak to us on this webinar. I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, it's great.
Okay, thank you. So our very first speaker for today is Ms. Eme Inekong. Ene is the Programs and Partnership Manager for Giving Tuesday Africa Hub. She supports an ecosystem of learning and collaboration in Africa and around the world by centering and amplifying the practice of African generosity. Emma is keen on fostering an enabling environment for philanthropy and does so as a member of the Reimagine INGO Social Lab, the Wings Enabling Environment Working Group, and as a Shift the Power Fellow 2022. So she's going to be our first speaker today. We're so happy to have her on this webinar. Yes.
Thank you, Damaris. Just a minute, let me pull up that of Folakemi. Are you able to see that?
Yes, I can. Yes, so our second speaker today is a powerhouse also, which we are also very delighted to have, is Mrs. Folakemi Additional. Folakemi Additional is the founder of the Do Good Charity Initiative and is a passionate advocate for the rights of children and women. She has a rich legal background and a dedication to nonprofit management. Folakemi has made a positive impact in over 25,000 individuals in various states in Nigeria. She holds a master's degree in sustainable humanitarian action from UCAM University in Mauritius. She is an award-winning innovator and humanitarian. She plays a pivotal role serving as the country lead for Giving Tuesday in Nigeria also the Lagos State the Lagos State coordinator for the Good Deeds Day International, and also an ambassador for the Global Impact Network. She is driven by a profound commitment to effect change, and she focuses on uplifting the lives of children and women in undeserved communities while advocating for the eradication of poverty amongst the populations. So we are very excited to have her as well.
Thank you so much, Damaris. And as you can imagine, we're super proud of the caliber of speakers that we have been able to muster for this event. We have the Giving Tuesday Nigeria country lead, who will speak to an African perspective in terms of how to design and implement, give you step-by-step processes of how to implement fundraising campaigns geared towards Giving Tuesday. And then we have Emeto as well, who will talk from a much more broader regional perspective on what the Giving Tuesday stands for, and then what the idea is in terms of how it can complement African philanthropy. So really excited for this conversation. And at this point in time, I would want to pass it over to Eme for her presentation. Eme, if you are able to take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Orwell. Please let me know if I'm audible and if you can
Yes.
see me right now, because I might go.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Orwell, thank you to everyone who has made our time to join in. And I know you're joining in because you would want to have an idea about how Giving Tuesday can go. Especially seeing as it's next week, Tuesday. We are very excited as well. I was just talking to Orwell and telling him how every hour there's a new campaign popping up somewhere on the African continent, which is amazing for us. I'm going to want to share my slides, so please let me know if I'm able to, if you can see them on the screen.
Shorten.
Okay.
Yep, we got you.
Okay then. I'm also going to need, let's see. Okay. So just let me know how, if it's open and I could just go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it is, but maybe we can do a slideshow so it fills up the whole screen.
So the thing is,
yeah, just towards the right there. After animations towards the top.
So because of Zoom, I'm going to try and reduce this. Okay, I'm unable, yeah. Okay. Sorry, the Zoom thing was hiding it for me. Thank you all for tech support. Okay, guys. So once again, welcome to Giving Tuesday. It's barely 5 days away, and we're so excited. You can tell if I'm not smiling well enough, I'm smiling in my heart, guys, because Giving Tuesday is an amazing, amazing global generosity movement that where, at the heart of which we believe that small acts of kindness, small acts of generosity can go a long way in transforming communities, in transforming people, in transforming organizations, and in effect, transforming the world. If you hear a sound in my background, please know that is a little one who is actually excited about Giving Tuesday with us, okay? So I'm going to just run through quick facts about Giving Tuesday. The Giving Tuesday movement was created in 2012 as a simple idea, a simple hashtag. Hashtag Giving Tuesday is a day that comes after Black Friday, which is today, right? After Black Friday, we have Cyber Monday. After Cyber Monday, we thought about it and said, oh, it would be great to have a day where people who probably have enough money or some money to spare after spending, on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, they could have something to share with those who might not have had to use, or to buy things around this time. And so the idea came up as a day to encourage people to do good, to share with others, to support charitable causes, both across the world and within their communities. And over the past 10 years, the idea has really grown into a global movement, inspiring hundreds of people in tens of countries around the world, even countries where we might not have maybe a leader. For example, there are in every single country, we have had what we call activations of the Giving Tuesday movement. Now, currently, there are about over 90 countries we have Giving Tuesday national movements. And this national movement usually refer to someone like, for example, Folakemi, who will be speaking, in a bit. Folakemi, who is Giving Tuesday Nigeria lead. We have Giving Tuesday South Africa leads, Giving Tuesday Malawi lead. We have so we call them hand raisers, people who identify with the ethos of the Giving Tuesday movement and feel like if they are already doing good, they could scale the level of good they do. They could further, localize, so to speak, the kind of good and generosity that they're able to accomplish. Another really key part of Giving Tuesday, is also being able to understand the idea of generosity, the trends that come with how people give, who is giving, what is being given, how much is being given. We do understand fundraising is an important part of the nonprofit development community, and data drives, true data drives knowledge. True data helps us to upscale and to understand where philanthropy is going. And so we always have the annual report that comes out every year around the trends that we had noticed. For example, we can say, for example, that, in the US last year, over $2 billion was given on Giving Tuesday, and this is just cash, right? This is just funding. We can see, because sometimes we're able to track in countries where we're able to track all these numbers and get them and then publish them. And we're hoping that as time goes on, a lot more countries will be able to also, provide that data around how giving is being done. We're also really interested in data from just different places. So currently our reach spans across the globe. We have, like I said, we do have over 90 countries. We've had Togo, Malawi in the last 1 year, South Africa, Mali. We've had even interest from Benin Republic, Seychelles, Mauritius, across the continent. We have representation from East, West, Central and Southern Africa at this point. Right. Like my role says, I am the Programs and Partnerships Manager for Giving Tuesday at the Africa Hub level. And we say hi. Sorry, guys. She's very excited, like I said. And at the Africa Hub,
I said, no worries, happy to have her. So.
Oh, thank you. She's happy to be here. She joins in a lot of these things. So at the Africa Hub level, really are positioned, right, to celebrate generosity, to inspire generosity, and to really learn. Like, while I'm here, guys, I'm interested in learning. For example, what more does Folakemi have to tell us today, right, around activations that are going on in Nigeria? So also listening to questions and thoughts and reflections that everyone who is joining in might have shared. I wonder if there's anyone who maybe has already run a Giving Tuesday campaign before. If you have, please let us know. It would be great to learn, right? And I know for sure that there are those who are interested in running their own Giving Tuesday campaigns, and we're going to learn quite a bit about that. So for the Africa Hub, we're aiming to really leverage the Giving Tuesday movement and our leader network, right, to amplify and celebrate African philanthropy, which really at the essence is how everyone is a giver. The essence of it, everyone is a giver. Everyone has something to give. We have time, we have talent, we have treasure, to give. And while sometimes we really focus on fundraising aspects, there is also, like I said, the central ethos that says small acts of kindness, acts of generosity are what we believe can really change the world. And the little that everyone can do really sums up to a big deal, right? So the idea is to inspire collective action, to have more people talking about generosity, more people co-creating campaigns, for example, coming together to build coalitions around causes, their funds. All right, then. So the Giving Tuesday model ideally would be, we are really big on collaboration, and you will see that thread patterned in Folakemi's presentation. We're really big on collaboration. At the hub level, we are here to, support We are here to resource, to give guidance, digital resources. If for example, you have a question as to, oh, for example, what can I do on Giving Tuesday, or what kind of campaign can I run? Not to worry, we have resorted on the websites at the Africa Hub level, at the global level. We have taken our time to collaborate with so many persons, and we have an archive of resources, toolkits, toolboxes that non-profit individuals can use to also run their campaigns, to run their fundraising campaigns, awareness campaigns, coalition campaigns. All of these things, we've really taken our time to set them up, and which we always try to ensure that the organizations, there are people who are willing and able to use them. You agree, don't you? Okay. We also, like I said, we also begun collective action, and then also inspiring, building the narrative of storytelling, ensuring that, for example, I will share a couple of links with you in the chat. Once I'm done with this, I'm Falakemi speaking, but just to say that the narrative of how generosity is told of in Africa, how we are speaking of the things that we are doing is really important to us at Giving Tuesday at the hub level. And so that's something that we are also hoping to change. So like I said, if there's someone, for example, who is running a Giving Tuesday campaign, or maybe after now, persons are inspired, hopefully, and decide to run Giving Tuesday campaigns, we are always available to receive, what you've done, your content, your photos, your videos, your pictures. Using the hashtag, you can always tag us, and we will definitely amplify it. We will definitely reshare, retweet. We will definitely, reach out to you at some point to also get your own data and your own information around your campaigns, for example. Right. Currently, this is a model. I put this up as a model of how we work and how we try to build a movement. Giving Today is a movement, and we have at the center of the movement, at the center of any movement, even in country, right? To give you an idea, your cause, for example, or a collaboration, a collective, you could have businesses that came to it. You could have media partners, influencers, amplifiers. You could have young people, reach out to schools. You could have tech partners and platforms, non-profits such as yourselves, or maybe if there are others who are not that entirely non-profits, and community organizations could key into the movement. We have leadership and your core team, which could now be you or someone else who you might be collaborating with. We also hope to have mutual aid, volunteer, and grassroots groups, and all these come together, right, around whatever cause or cultural coalition that you are trying to create. Usually we call them campaigns also, but if this is something that speaks to you, you can begin to say, okay, as a non-profit, and I'm sure this is something that Orwell might tell you, or you might have heard from Orwell, but it's always a good idea to be able to diversify your funding and resourcing mechanisms within your organization, or even as an individual. So the idea is also be able to lean into your relationships with businesses, lean into your relationship with the media, lean into your relationship with other CSOs, to ensure that you're building a healthy kind of structure as a nonprofit, as a community foundation, as a volunteer network, and all that good stuff. Usually the idea, we would say, if I were to run it, and I'm speaking at a very broad level, because I do know that Falakemi is going to be speaking a bit more into the nitty-gritty, for example, at the country level. But we always say these are the things that you could look through when you could look out for your organization, or collaborate with some other person or people, right? There are hand raiser, there's a campaign, there's a cause. You identify your partners, you guys align on your goals, you design a campaign, and then you launch and promote the campaign, right? This is really just step by step, and I do know that this is an open source slide, so I'm happy to share. Orwell had let me know, so it's fine if everyone is able to just take this up and work with it. But then this slide here, I just thought it would be great for you to see how, for example, in Kenya, and Kenya is because Africa the other side of the continent. But in Kenya, the Giving Tuesday Kenya lead is an organization called the East African Philanthropy Network. And you can see that while they are the national movement leader, they are one organization. What they decided to do, they decided to create a campaign called #AlumniGive. Now, in Giving Tuesday, we are not, you mustn't use only the Giving Tuesday hashtag, right? We don't press for you to follow a particular structure of funnel. We are fine. If you come and say, oh, you want to do a hashtag travel as on some gives, that's cool. We love it, right? Do that. So Giving Tuesday Kenya, they identified partners which were alumni bodies, associations, as you can see here, Future First Kenya, KenGen, Alumni Kenya, and they said, oh, it would be great for us to have this thing to come together and, you know, really talk about how people can give back to their schools, their alma maters, like we call them in Nigeria. Okay. And so people, and they were interested and they were fine with it. And so and each of them came together and decided to start giving, and it just grew and grew. I can tell you categorically, for example, like when it was done, during Giving Tuesday last year, Strathmore University, for example, they were able to match funding for almost $400,000, just leveraging the hashtag alumni, when alumni give hashtag. And it wasn't like this was the initial idea for Strathmore. Strathmore wasn't, you can see the university I'm calling isn't on this slide, but they were one of those alumni groups and people that you can see that Future First had reached out to. And so they're like, oh, this is a great hashtag. We're in university, we have alumni, let's do this. So that's really the idea. This is just to show you the power of being able to take the Giving Tuesday idea, take the Giving Tuesday hashtag, to leverage it, you know, and to work with it. And while I know that it's just a couple of days away, sometimes there has to be some strategy going into it. It's also possible to just take up low-hanging fruits, right? If you're in Nigeria, for example, I would encourage you, reach out to Folakemi, see if there are things that are already being done, if there are campaigns that are already being run, or if you already have ideas that you are currently doing in your own organization and you think Giving Tuesday will be a good fit for it to run, then feel free to do so. It would be great to have you join us this year. We look forward to so many activations this year, next year, sometime in the future. You're always welcome. Thank you so much for having me. You can always email us at africa@givingtuesday.org. We'll be happy to receive whatever reflections or questions that you have. And I will put in my LinkedIn name and the link in the chat for anyone who would want to connect. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you so much, Emma. Really insightful conversations. Thank you for, like you kind of inferred, this is like a conversation starter, yeah? Giving Tuesdays from next week, and there's a whole lot that everybody should be advantage of this movement. It's incredible just to see that Giving Tuesday is only about 11 years old. Yeah, this would be like the 11th year, and then so much has already been happening. Just for benefit of the members of people in the audience today, if you do not know, Giving Tuesday recorded over 3.1 billion that was given by 20 million people in the US alone last year. I mean, for someone like me that has spent like a career in business development, chasing donors, writing proposals, having meetings, you know how difficult it is for you to raise $3.1 billion. And it's very hard for you to find a donor that can give you that. So imagine that kind of money being contributed by 20 million people. Yeah. So imagine the freedom you can have. And one major problem with the African NGOs have is the fact that the funding that comes is only supposed to be used from external donors. It's supposed to be used for projects alone. It doesn't cover overheads. It doesn't cover resources. It doesn't cover salaries most times. When the project ends, you can lose your staff. But when you participate in a campaign like Giving Tuesday, the members of the public are the ones contributing to your social cause, and then they don't tell you how to spend the money. So it's like a gold mine, really, compared to like external donors. Emma, I think you want to add something.
Oh, yeah? No, I'm just giving you a thought. That is exactly true. And coming from a non-profit background, what you are saying is spot on, right? Because yes, like I said, and the thing is, I would also want to highlight this, that while individuals also give, we see that now a lot of organizations are really open to the idea of giving on Giving Tuesdays, right? So a lot more organizations are aware of, oh, Giving Tuesday. They are looking out for organizations that are probably running campaigns. You know, people are looking out for Giving Tuesday. For example, I'll tell you a personal example. I'm a Christian. I use the YouVersion app, right? And I've been using the YouVersion Bible for the last couple of years now. But I can tell you that last Giving Tuesday, I definitely gave to YouVersion because I was like, oh, they have a Giving Tuesday campaign on them. I thought, well, give to the... And I did. So that's what is going on now. The thing is, if you are not leveraging Giving Tuesday, you are missing out. And that's one way to just say it, guys. It's true. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, two things for me. One was about like creating a compelling storytelling. Yeah, like a compelling storytelling campaign. That was one thing you emphasized. And also like being able to identify partners within the ecosystem. So it's not like you're the only one shouting in an echo chamber. But first, you have to be able to tell your story in a way that people can identify with it. And it's not just about you. Yeah, you're reaching out to a lot of people. You're trying to make sure that other people too are able to amplify your message. And that's why I would encourage everybody. There's almost always a Giving Tuesday in your country. I don't know, Emma, if I can put you on the spot, like how many Africa chapters might we have? I know there's like Malawi, Kenya, there's a lot, but do you?
Oh, so currently we are going on 19. So usually we have maybe at any given time, 3 or 2 people trying to onboard.
Okay. Okay. So my point is there's almost very likely that there's a Giving Tuesday chapter in your country. Feel free to connect with them or connect with Emma will show you the ropes on how to go about this. But I mean, so I don't take the whole time. I'm sure that there will be questions. Please feel free, like Tolulope has said, put your questions in the chat, engage with what Emma has shared and what our other speakers are going to share too as well. But really happy, Emma, for that conversation starter. And at this point, I will want to move on to the next speaker. We're really happy to have Folakemi additional. Here she is the Giving Tuesday Nigeria country lead, and exactly the way Emma said, she's going to give us a deep dive into how to do this thing practically, apart from the high level that Emma has shared. So Folakemi, thank you. I see you already share your screen. Please take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Orwell. I'm very much delighted to be part of today's webinar. And thanks to the team for putting this webinar together. It was actually much more needed for us to be able to share with people on how to, participate on Giving Tuesday. And thanks to Emma. Emma has already given an overview of what the Giving Tuesday movement is all about. So I'm just going to I will be going straight to the point on how to, she initially mentioned that one of the things we believed at Giving Tuesday is that anyone, anywhere can give, irrespective of your tribe, your background, your gender. We believe that anyone can give. So I'm just going to be moving to how to design and implement a Giving Tuesday campaign as an African NGO. So I'm going to be sharing personal experiences of how I was able to create, how I was able to leverage, my organization was able to leverage on Giving Tuesday campaign last year. We've been running this particular campaign and for almost 2 years, but we did something different last year and we had a successful campaign. So, but one of the first things that we did was that we were very creative about our campaign. So, and it's very important for organizations who want to leverage and design a Giving Tuesday campaign to visualize their Giving Tuesday campaign beyond the hashtag. They need to, you need to look into how your campaign can be different from other fundraising campaign that is out there. You also need to ask yourself that what kind of message do you want to share to people on that Global Giving Day for them to be able to key into your campaign. So it's very important to be very creative. That's one of the first guideline I'll be sharing this afternoon. And the second point is you need to define your goal. If you are creating a Giving Tuesday campaign, clearly outline the objective of your Giving Tuesday campaign, whether it's a fundraising, whether it's the community engagement, or you're raising awareness. It's very important to set goals. So let's say, for example, you want to have a fundraising campaign. You need to have a goal, you need to have a target. What exactly, how much do you want to raise, and why are you raising these funds? You need to write down your goals for you to be able to know exactly what you are doing. Having a specific goal will actually guide your strategy. So it's important to set a goal, to make plans, and get to work. So it's important to have goals. Then a lot of nonprofit organizations usually struggle with this aspect when it comes to choosing their team, because I usually get some questions like, oh, I do not have anybody, because you find out that nonprofits, the founder is the programs manager, is the partnership manager, is the content writer. And if you really want to have a successful campaign, you need to have people around that could actually give them responsibility. So it's about you choosing your team. And how can you choose your team? Just look into the people that are volunteering with you. You would see one or two people who could actually work with you on your campaign. Like recently, we were having issues like, oh, we've not been posting on Giving Tuesday Twitter page. And I realized that our programs manager at Do Good Charity, my organization, she's always on Twitter. I told her, come on, take the password, because you can always identify one person out of your volunteers who is super online, maybe knows the latest trend, can jump on anything, and also maybe a volunteer who is always passionate to talk about your organization. So to have a successful campaign, a Giving Tuesday campaign, you need to have a team on ground and give them the responsibility to, for everyone to work together. So the next thing is, next guideline is, you need to decide on your platform. Before deciding on your platform, you need to identify your target audience. So who are the people? Who are the people you really want to, when you are launching your campaign, who are your target audience? Are they maybe your family, your friends, your colleagues, your donors, your partners? You need to understand their interests, their behaviors, and communication preferences. So sometimes a lot of organizations, your target audience cannot, if your target audience is on WhatsApp and you're going on Instagram to promote your campaign, you are not doing the right thing. So to have a successful campaign, you really need to identify your target audience. You need to understand their interests. You need to understand their behaviors, their communication preferences. So this would actually help you to decide on which platform you'll be launching your campaign. So you could launch your campaign on any of the platforms. You could launch on all the platforms if you feel that your target audience are on Instagram, or maybe you're on TikTok and you feel that your target audience are on TikTok, and you can always jump on latest trends to promote your campaigns. Why not? The most important thing is you have to create a digital presence and also develop an email campaign to reach out to your existing supporters. And I know a lot of organizations do have issues with developing email campaign. It looks like so much work, but there are organizations that could actually even help with this. You can even reach out to them, and gradually you can always look into when people support you and have their emails to be able to reach out to them for further publicity on your campaign. So it's very important to decide your platforms on which you want to launch your campaign. So this is very important. I know a lot of people would have been must have heard about, telling your stories. Most people will say, oh, I do not have, how do I tell my stories? It's very important because after, being creative, you already set a goal, you've decided on the platform, you have a team on ground, you should be able to develop a compelling narrative that explains the impact of your NGO's work. So, and it's very important because people would be able to connect with you when you use real stories, statistics to connect with your audience. It's very important to tell your story at this point on why you are having this campaign. So let's say, for example, you are trying to maybe launch an hygiene bank, or maybe you are trying to give out pads to girls. You should, I believe there should be a story behind you giving out pads to girls. So you need to tell your story for us to be able to, for people to be able to connect with you. And it's very important to use real stories. It's very important to use statistics so that you can connect with people. You need to leverage on, social media to utilize the relevant hashtag, and also encourage supporters to share your content. A lot of NGOs or founders would, set up a fundraising campaign, and at the end of the day, they will just go and relax. It doesn't work that way. You need people to, you need to encourage people around you to share your content. I remember last year, one of my colleagues came to me and he said, oh, I know you are running a campaign. Do you feel I should just donate? I said, no, that's not the only thing we need from you. We want you to share, share the content with your friends, with your colleagues, because we believe that when people have that personal connection with you, it makes it much more easier for them to trust you and, for them to be able to key into your campaign and maybe donate and even share what you are doing in your organization. So it's very important to encourage your supporters to share your content. It will actually make you to have a successful Giving Tuesday campaign whenever you launch your campaign out there. So I think Emmet talked about collaboration. So it's very important. At Giving Tuesday, collaboration is a big thing for us. Coming up on 28th November in Nigeria, we have lots of organizations coming together in different states. Like in Lagos, we have about 20 organizations coming up. Then in Benue, we have about 8 organizations coming together. So collaboration is something that makes your campaign to be very successful. So it's very necessary to partner with other NGOs, businesses, or influencers to amplify your campaign. So collaboration helps a lot because when you are able to collaborate, it helps to push your campaign out there. So please, let's leverage on collaboration when you're trying to create a Giving Tuesday campaign. So, and this is another guideline that a lot of maybe organizations find very difficult. So when you're raising your funds, it's important to provide regular updates. You need to keep your audience informed about the campaign's progress, regularly update them on the fundraise, the milestone achieved, and the impact of their contribution. This is very important because it would make them to understand where you are and where you are going to, and also if you need further help on your campaign. Accountability and transparency is very important when it comes to you creating this campaign, implementing it. It's very important. So, and you can't rule this out. You need to say thank you at all times to people. Say thank you to them, show appreciation to your donors, to your volunteers and partners, publicly acknowledge their contributions, and emphasize the collective impact achieved. Very important when you launch, when you are implementing it, and even at the end of the campaign, you need to say thank you. Thank you goes a long way. So, and I'm going to be ending this session with people give to people, not to organization. And this suggests that the human element and personal connection plays a crucial role in motivating people to contribute and engage with a cause. Last year, we had we've been having this love at Christmas in my organization for almost 3 years now. I think we started in 2020, but we did not have the kind of result we had last year, leveraging on Giving Tuesday to fundraise. So we were very creative last year to see how we can, push our campaign out there, and we drew out our goals. We had a target of raising 1.5 million naira. So at the point we were raising 1.5 million naira, we drew out our plans. The adoption plan, it's in this picture. We drew out the adoption plan for people to be able to key into what our campaign is all about. And as the fundraising was going, I see there, we were updating our audience that, okay, we have 25 families has been adopted out of 150 families that we want to reach out to. And at the end of the day, on Giving Tuesday, we were able to raise 778,000 naira out of 1.5 million naira, which is, a very big one for us, because we have never raised such for this particular program. So it's important to say thank you, and it's important to have a plan, and also to keep your audience updated. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for allowing me to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Kevin. So many nuggets you dropped here. Thank you for going. Breaking it down. Giving Tuesday sounds very complex. Thank you for breaking it down into bite-sized pieces that we can all implement. So I really love your steps. Being creative, being able to have a plan, and all of that, tell a story. Those are very key aspects of the campaign. I'm sure there's a lot of things that are coming to mind for the rest of the audience today, everybody in the meeting. So I wouldn't take too much time. But very, very helpful, very helpful. And yes, to everybody sharing, anybody asking about the slides, yes, we're going to share the slides and the recording, so do not fret. You would have this, I don't know, forever, I guess, to continue making reference to it, particularly from next week. Giving Tuesday is on next Tuesday. So feel free to take advantage of it. So I'm going to pass it on to Tolulope Oluwafemi, Travail Ensembles co-founder and chief operating officer, to take it away for the Q&A session. We will try to keep the Q&A session a bit, we'll make it a bit shorter than we planned. But before that, Tolu, with everybody, I want us to take a group picture on mine. So I see that most people's cameras are off. Would you mind switching on your camera for just like a second? I'm sorry, Olakemi, if you also stop the sharing. Okay, awesome. So would you mind putting your camera off for like a second, like 5 minutes or what, 2 minutes, so we can take a screenshot of all of us. You don't mind. But if you mind, no worries, you can leave it off. But if not, it would be great to see our happy faces for just like a minute. Yeah, I see people putting up the. Thank you. Dan, are you able to take that screenshot? Damaris? If not, I would just try to take that. Okay, 1 more minute. So keep the smiles up, keep the happy faces up. Just nice smile, Emma. Your baby, really cute baby too. Thank you for smiling too. Okay, like 30 seconds more, please. I see a couple of people still don't have their videos on. If you can run it for like 30 seconds, done and out of your hair. Thank you, Damaris. Okay, but if not, no worries. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can switch off your video now. That's really helpful. Tolulope, are you able to like maybe 10 minutes of Q&A?
All right. Thank you. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes.
All right. So while waiting for people
Please.
to ask questions, just to keep the room busy, so I would like to ask, Folakemi, how has the Giving Tuesday reception been like in Nigeria? I know you said you've been on it for a while. How has the reception been?
I didn't get the question. Please, can you repeat that?
All right, thank you. I asked that how has the Giving Tuesday reception been in Nigeria? We know that giving is a concept that is a bit dicey. So how has the Giving Tuesday initiative been in Nigeria since you started?
Okay. So, currently we are okay. Last year it wasn't really, people really didn't know much about Giving Tuesday in Nigeria until I came on board. I came on board last year. So it's been, we have now increased from 5 organizations to about 40 organizations in Nigeria presently. And we have, it's not only NGOs, we have schools that have accepted Giving Tuesday into their school curriculum to participate on Giving Tuesday. So it's been very interesting. Recently, we had a Giving Tuesday Summit and 17 Rooms conversation, and we had a lot of people coming out there to learn more about Giving Tuesday. So it looks new to some organization. Some people have learned about Giving Tuesday maybe from other countries, but right now we are still creating more awareness. So right now we have community leaders in different states, and one of our aim is to create more awareness about Giving Tuesday and make people to know more about Giving Tuesday, and also make Giving Tuesday in Nigeria an household name. So right now we are still a growing community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Kende, you raised your hand. Could you please ask your question, please?
Sorry, I think Kendi stepped out, maybe because of the network or something. I guess he will be back, he or she.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know, is there any other question? Any other person want to come in? I know you have ideas. I know you also had some questions, burning questions on your mind before you joined the meeting. So anybody want to share? If not, I could go next. I kind of ask for Lakemi, for instance. How would you say, are there like any kind of techniques? You mentioned it in your presentation about like running an email campaign. From what you've learned so far, and it's an incredible achievement you had personally with Do Good Charity, and we're able to raise over 778,000 naira during Giving Tuesday last year, which is remarkable. What tips for success do you have for email fundraising for African NGOs? I see a lot of them don't do it, but what have you learned so far that you think others should replicate?
Yeah, I think one of the issues we have in well, let me say Nigeria is let me speak for Nigeria community, is because we don't have donor management system. So most time when people donate to you, in my organization we are still struggling with that, because we want to have most time when people donate to you, you might not have their details and all. So getting their details sometimes is a whole lot of problem. So some people will donate to you, you won't even know where the donation is coming from. So I think donor management is something that is very important in the system at the moment for most African organizations should leverage on, because it would actually help us to be able to know the people donating and how to, continue to have a continuous relationship with them. And, if you don't have all their information, there's no way you can start sending out emails. But I feel that one of the things Bidemi has encouraged us at Giving Tuesday, our communication manager, is to continue to send out the newsletter, leveraging on like Mailchimp, Substacks, and some other platform to continue to engage people. So that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you. And Emma, maybe if I could ask you, how do you see the growth of Giving Tuesday like across the continent? Yeah, and like how compatible it is it with like other forms, additional forms of African philanthropy?
Giving Tuesday is growing. So internally as an organization, we know for a fact that in Africa, the Giving Tuesday movement is the fastest growing, right? Across other continents. The African continent is really taking it on. People are really embracing and adopting it because it does reflect basic ideologies that we already have. How people are very happy to give to family members, how people are able to give to relatives, to friends in need, So, and like I said, our key ethos is that we believe small for generosity. Like Folakemi has, even shown some of the campaigns she has had, go a long way in creating impact. So yes, Africa definitely have taken it on across countries. Like I said, we even have countries currently trying to onboard into the movement. So hopefully we've started initially with Anglophone countries, but now we do have quite a number of Francophone countries on board, right? And I think this is because people are very open to the idea that the little that they have can work for them, can work for their communities. And that's something that even I personally feel strongly about. And I'm happy to see being encouraged.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, right. I'm really excited to see as well.
I think Kende is back. So if Mr. or Miss, if you are available, could you ask your question, please?
Kende, you have the floor. Good morning.
Yes, okay. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I would say this program has been all beneficial. I think the first time I heard of Giving Tuesday was on Facebook when I saw from a travel assemble on the Facebook by Mr. Allwell, my senior at University of Ibadan. That is how for multidisciplinary study, I don't know. So I saw that and I said, well, I want to say that I have gotten some information that I'm not privy to before now. And then, yeah, I am looking at, because I'm trying to interpret everything that I'm hearing, and now we can also leverage on that. So it's like Giving Tuesday is like a particular period in a year where NGO actually call for funding for a particular project or a particular campaign that they are running. So it's like a window. So I don't know, it's like a movement, I don't know. But I felt like Giving Tuesday, what I was thinking, maybe kind of leveraging of Giving Tuesday, how can we do that? What are the approach? What are the stages? How do we go about it? That is my question. I don't know if my question is clear. Hello? Hello? I don't know if my question is clear.
Maybe you should just repeat yourself so that we can get the question very well.
media, or it's going to be a physical event where we invite donor, prospective donor, and then tell them what we want to do with the fund and the political campaign we want to run, or intervention project they want to engage or embark on. So I just need additional information around that.
Sorry, Mr. Kennedy, if I could.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, if I could.
Yes, very well.
I mean, because most of what you're asking is very helpful, but again, it's also what Folakemi has taken time to explain, at least in terms of like the key ways to go about it, step-by-step approaches and strategies that you can use. I say we can share, because we will share all of the slides and this recording as well with you, to be a resource that you can use afterwards. So you will have the recording and the slides to actually be able to to have an idea of how to implement the takeaways that you have from this session. That's one thing I want to first clarify. But I don't know, Folakemi, Emma, is there any other thing you want to add? It's besides what
Tuesday, so it's an opportunity for you to attend.
Okay. Please, can you give me detail about the program?